What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the show. So Talarico versus Paxton, we do have the latest poll coming from Emerson, so we're going to take a look at that today. But first off, you guys can do me a favor. Please like the video. If you're watching this video and you want to see more content like this, please consider subscribing to the channel. And so looking at the latest poll, this is the Emerson College poll. This was posted on 8/13/2026. You have 1,000 likely voters, so the sample size is good. Likely voters is good. The margin of error plus or minus 3%, which is good. And you have Talarico at 46%, you have Paxton at 47%, and then you have other at 7%. Now, if we move up and we see you have, what, five polls here. So if you average these 5 polls, you have Talarico at 47.8%, and you have Paxton at 45.8%. So looking at the average, you see that Talarico is ahead. So looking at the latest poll, you see that Paxton is ahead. However, this is within that margin of error, so there's no clear leader. And if you go down, and I always like to do this, I like to look at where is the momentum. So just go all the way down to the bottom here, and you count the number of blue marks here. So you have 46%. This was that Texas Pulse poll. So 46% for Talarico, 46% for Paxton. And then you have the University of Texas poll. This is 42% for Talarico, 43% for Paxton. And then you have the Siena College poll. That's 47% for Talarico, 47% for Paxton. And then as we move up past that, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 polls. 6 polls that are showing Talarico ahead of Paxton. And then in the latest poll, it's showing Paxton with that slight lead. So that is what we're looking at. But you can clearly see the momentum is on Talarico's side because he's winning in more of these polls, although most, if not all, of these polls are within that margin of error, so there's no clear leader. But still, it's worth mentioning that Talarico does have the lead. And when we look at Kalshi, this is important because we just looked at Kalshi just last week. It was showing Paxton ahead. And now when we look at Kalshi, look at what it's showing us. Ken Paxton, 49%. James Talarico, 51%. Now, this is statistically a toss-up. This is 50-50 at this point because Talarico was in the low 40s just last week. Now Talarico is moved into, if you want to say it's the lead, but like I said, it's 50-50. And remember, a lot of people are comparing this to Beto O'Rourke when Beto O'Rourke ran against Cruz. But there's a huge difference here. Back when Cruz ran against Beto O'Rourke wasn't leading in the polls. Cruz was leading in the polls. But when we saw the final outcome, Beto O'Rourke, he lost, but he only lost by, it was like less than 3%. And so that was a really close race. And so Cruz barely won, if you want to look at it that way, in Texas. But now we're seeing polling that's showing us something different. We're seeing polling that's showing Talarico is leading in some of the polls. Talarico in the prediction market, it's a 50-50. It's pretty much a toss-up. And you don't have an incumbent. Ted Cruz, when he ran, he was the incumbent, so he has that incumbent advantage. Paxton doesn't have that incumbent advantage. So I want to make a quick pitch here. If you guys are liking the content on my channel, make sure you go over and join my Substack. It's free. And on my Substack, you're going to get articles that are based on some of the videos that I've posted, as well as every video that I post on YouTube, I also post it on Substack, and Substack will send you an email notification so you'll never miss any of my videos. Link is in the description. And then when we look at the Senate map, if you really want to break this down, this is the current map. Democrats and independents at 47, Republicans at 53, and Democrats have a realistic pathway to take back control of the Senate. And this is what it would look like. Democrats right now in North Carolina, it's looking pretty good. Roy Cooper is doing really well in North Carolina, and that's probably going to be Democrats' best pickup. So if Democrats win in North Carolina, if they find a way to pull it out in Maine, which they have Troy Jackson. He's leading in the polls, but I don't think his camp is comfortable with the lead of 2 or 3 points. He needs to be close to the double digits in order to realistically win in Maine. But he's still leading in the latest 2 polls. And then when we start looking at other states like Ohio, I think Sherrod Brown, you look at some of the latest polls, Sherrod Brown is ahead. You look at the prediction mark. I believe the prediction mark, the last time I looked at it, it was showing that Sherrod Brown was ahead. And so Sherrod Brown, who has been a senator before, is running against Husted, and Husted has never been elected to Senate before, so he's an incumbent now, but he was appointed to the position. So this is his first time actually running for Senate, and so that gives Sherrod Brown a little bit of an advantage because Sherrod Brown has won Senate races before, so he knows what it takes to win. But I still would give the advantage to Sherrod Brown because he's run successful races in Ohio before. But let's just say Democrats are able to win in Ohio. Now you have Democrats and independents at 50. You have Republicans at 50. In a situation like this, Tie goes to the vice president. The vice president's a Republican, so Republicans would maintain control of the Senate. But if we start to look at states like Texas, where it's now pretty much a toss-up, it's 50-50, whereas just a month ago it wasn't a toss-up. Just a month ago it was leaning for Republicans. And so now Talarico has a real shot at winning. And if Talarico can pull it out in Texas, then Democrats and independents would be at 51, Republicans would be at 49, Democrats would take back control of the Senate, and we would still have a few states to look at. You still could look at Alaska. Democrats could potentially win in Alaska. Democrats could potentially win in Iowa. We could see an independent potentially win in Nebraska. And so if Democrats can win in Texas, that just gives them more options. And then we can even look at South Carolina. I think that's going to be an interesting race. And so now that Lindsey Graham isn't running, it opens up things. We don't know how the voters are going to feel about the Republican candidate. And so that might give an advantage to the Democratic challenger. So we'll have to see how that plays out. But I've been saying this all along. When it comes to Texas, if we see Talarico win in Texas, I think we're going to be looking at a blue wave. I think we're going to be looking at a situation where voters have come out, and Texas is a hard state for Democrats to win. We know that. So if Talarico is able to win there, we're going to be seeing something going on all over the U.S. We're going to be seeing these different races that Democrats are close in. They could potentially win in those races as well. And so I'm saying if Texas goes blue, then Democrats are probably going to take back control of the Senate. And one last thing that I want to mention, will they debate? Will we see a debate between Talarico and Paxton? Right now, I'm thinking we might not see a debate because Talarico came out and he said that he wanted to debate Paxton. Paxton's camp said that they're willing to debate. I don't think it's going to happen. And the reason why I don't think it's going to happen is because we're not even seeing Paxton out there talking a lot. I've seen him on Fox News. I've seen him on Newsmax. You don't see him doing interviews on the other outlets. He's not talking about the issues. He was asked some different questions about infidelity. He was asked questions about other things. He won't answer those questions. And so I just don't see him, if he's not answering questions to reporters, I don't see him going on a debate stage because he knows if he goes on a debate stage, that question is going to be asked and he's going to have to find a way to answer it. And the fact that he's not talking about some of these different situations with the houses that he owns and, the situation with his wife and all that, because he's not discussing those things, I don't think he's going to put himself in a situation in a debate where he has to answer those questions. And so now I want to know what you guys think. What do you think about Texas? Do you think Talarico will win? Do you think Paxton will win? Let me know in the comments below. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe for more. And remember, stay informed, stay engaged, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye. So that's all we have for this video. Make sure if you guys want to send me an email, you can do that, david@thetecshow.com. Like the video, subscribe for more, and check out these videos over here for some more great content. Talk to you later. Bye.